that glass breaking always scares me. I think like I always think Amir's just broken something or a mug or
No more humming as well from me.
Well, I love that you think it's him and not me, so that makes me happy.
something. Amir's a clumsy one, so it's got to be
Am I?
Amir. Yeah, you are. Anyways, what's up, guys? Back again with another GOAT3D podcast. I'm joined by my lovely co-hosts, kind of Crypto Pope and
Nope.
Amir, Mr. Goated. He hasn't done any bad noises yet, but he's doing some hand signs right now. How are you guys?
Fabulous, brother. Absolutely fabulous. It's been a great week in some markets. We'll leave it at that. Amir, Mr. Goated?
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I can't wait to share my analysis with you guys. It's been a very interesting week. The US dollar is losing value, and a lot of money is getting exited out of the US dollar and moving into different sectors. So it's very interesting to see that. And yeah, man, I can't wait to do this podcast this week with you guys.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's been a crazy week as well. Obviously, last week when we did our last podcast, Trump coin launched, and then Trump's wife launched her own meme coin as well. So that took a lot of liquidity out of the cycle and a lot of liquidity out of the meme coins as well. But we'll delve into more details when we get into the nitty-gritty of stuff. But guys, if you are new here, make sure that you like, make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you hit that notification bell. If you're watching us from YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you're following Canna Crypto Pope. Make sure you're following Mr. Gold on Twitter, and make sure you're following Remy_Right on Twitter as well. Amir, I'm going to pass it over to you. If you can go through some like Bitcoin dailies and give us a little overview of how it's going right now.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, I mentioned that money is leaving the US dollar, and you can see that from this chart here. This is the US dollar index. I'm not going to go too detailed into this chart because I've already done a video. If you go to my page, I've already done a weekly sentimental video covering the US dollar and other assets that are tied to the US dollar, such as soybean futures. I looked at gold today. I looked at oil today. I looked at BTC today. I looked at the S&P today. I looked at treasury bonds. I looked at the volatility of the market. So that video is covering everything if you go to my page. If you look at the total market cap, guys, which is the valuation of the whole crypto market cap, it looks like we are obviously still hovering above the previous all-time high, as I mentioned in the previous podcast. And if we get closer on the 8 hour, it looks like we're in this consolidation period right now, where the market, the buyers and sellers are buying in like an equilibrium type of pattern. Okay, so if we imagine that we got a rope, so I'm sure you guys, when you were a kid, you used to play tug of war, right, Ryan? And we used to have some people on the other side, and we used to have some people on this side, right? And each team was pulling the rope to their side. All right, so that's what's been happening in this area. So we got buyers on this side, and we got sellers on this side. They're all pulling the rope, and the price is literally not moving anywhere because buyers and sellers are happy keeping the price at these areas. So we need some aggressive buyers and sellers to come now to push price to either to the upside, to the left side. And we are in this type of triangle pattern as well, symmetrical triangle, where price is just
bullish wedge, baby. Bullish wedge. Look at that thing.
Exactly. And the price is literally, the candles are, you can see from the volatility, it's declining. That means the candles are getting smaller and smaller in this area. And eventually it's going to lead onto a big breakout on either to the upside, which is very likely because we're still in a bull run, right? Or we could maybe go down and retest some lower areas, or maybe liquidate a lot of this area where previous buyers exist in the market, as I've mentioned in last week, and then push higher and break out. And Bitcoin is actually very similar to the total market cap right now. If you look at Bitcoin on the 8 hour, it's doing exactly the same thing. It's creating this symmetrical bullish wedge, as Kana mentioned, in this area. And we are literally on the daily close. If you look closely over here, we are hovering literally on the daily close. We are above the monthly close, so we are still in a bullish environment. And as I mentioned, because money is exiting the dollar, it needs to go to other assets such as Bitcoin, such as the S&P. And Bitcoin dominance looks very interesting as well. Is literally if I go on the 8 hour, we are retesting really some historical highs right now in this area on the Bitcoin dominance that we've retested before. And usually in these areas, Bitcoin dominance gets rejected. And I think we are very close to alt season. And if you look at the total market cap of just the alts, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, it looks like we are on the weekly, we have closed above the previous all-time high. As you can see here, right? And we are going for a pullback. And now we've managed to stay above the 10 and 20 EMAs as well, which is telling us there's still bullish momentum in the market right now. And we are so close right now for a breakout. And alts can go absolutely crazy. What's your thought on this, guys?
Well,
I completely agree with you.
I'll give a little bit of my TA here.
Sure.
And just give me a sec. So as you can see, I always kind of chop up my each whatever I'm looking at into 3-day, 1 day, 4 hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. On the 3-day, we do have this compression area here and movement to the upside. We've been bouncing around in here. What we need to do is we need to retest. Right? We haven't been able to get past this level here. Once we can break out of here, come back down, retest it, then we're going to get into new all-time highs. We're going to see retail flood in. Like we mentioned last time, this market is completely different because we don't have the retail this time. You know, last bull, we were hoping to get the adoption from industry. And then now we're just waiting for retail to come back in. And I'm not sure if it's exhaustion or what, but on the 4 hour, when we look at it, I'll clean it up. I'll take my indicators off for you here. You know, we can see this wedge that you were just talking about. And it's just been compressing in there, and bullish wedge coming up, getting in this space, and it leads to breakouts. So that being said, it can break up or it can break down. And what we have obviously is the FOMOC and all that stuff coming. When is that?
That's on Wednesday.
I'm on Paint
FOMC.
tool. Yeah, I will learn to be on the right tools when I do that. So yeah, we got the durable goods, no big deal. The interest rate decision, there might be some sell-off before this news. We might see a little bit of pullback. But what I'm seeing on the lower time frames is interesting. You know, New York's just waking up, and it looks like New York wants to put some money into the markets. You know, we've been capitulating in this area, and hopefully we'll start to see more money flow in this week. Probably end of week would be my 2 cents, is where we'll see the money flow in, because I think people are going to be waiting for this Wednesday news. So there's probably in these next few days, we're going to see this chop. And on the smaller time frames, the 30 minutes, we can see here that we're coming up to a bullish cross right here, and we should see some kind of momentum like that, hopefully kind of get up into these highs, pull back, and turn this area here into support and go from there. I don't want to keep coming down on this 200 EMA. So I'd like to see that start to dwindle down and that go up. When you were talking about the dominance, I mean, oh, that's Bitcoin, sir. When we're talking about the dominance, this here is when I told everybody I was getting out of the market and that alts were going to crash, when everybody was saying we were in an alt season. And even on the last show, I said, we're not in an alt season. We've been in this parallel channel for eons. This was just a really nice run on those alts, XRP, ADA, some of the classics. And then December hit, right? We can see it down here. And we saw the dominance go right back into Bitcoin. Alts took a punishing. They kind of gave us a little bit of a rinse here, and now hopefully this is where we'll probably see, in my opinion, we'll probably see a little bit. Just clean this up a bit. We're starting to see a pullback here now. What I'd like to see is the EMA start to curl and really come down. And what that's going to take is we'll see probably a little bit of an increase in dominance, and then hopefully start to drop and retest this channel. It'll probably hit this channel, bounce, and then come back down. And then that's when we can send it and we can officially say, holy shit, we've had an alt season. But are we there yet? I don't think so. I think this news is going to cause a little bit of a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very interesting. We do have a lot of economic releases next week, and I think it's going to be a very, very important, eventful week. And we're going to find out if the Federal Reserve Chairman, Jeremy Powell, is going to be cutting interest rates, or it's just going to remain the same. So it's going to be very interesting. If they do cut the interest rates, then we could see a massive run on crypto because people will be able to borrow money at a cheaper rate. Businesses will be able to borrow money, and that money that will be borrowed will obviously get invested back into risk assets such as Bitcoin as well, because it's cheaper to do so. And if you look at Ethereum, so this was the total market cap excluding BTC and Ethereum, and it does look like we're at the all-time, we're hovering around the all-time highs, and it's just a matter of time where we break out and alts go crazy. And Ethereum is also creating that bullish wedge pattern that Cannon mentioned in this area. It's literally on the monthly close, and what it did with Ethereum previously was it got rejected from this 8 hours supply. It went down. We created equal lows. We went up for a pullback back and created a new supply on the 8 hour, and then it crashed all the way below the monthly close. We liquidated some buyers in this area, and then bullish momentum came back into the market. And now, ever since then, we've just been consolidating. But bullish momentum seems to be still in the market right now, as you can see from the rising volume. But we did have a decline in volume on all assets, to be fair, on all crypto assets, and a decline in the volatility. So it's only a matter of time we see some aggressive, orders coming back into crypto again.
I think there's two things at play here, in my opinion, Amir. And we were talking about this over dinner tonight. A lot of people right now are thinking Bitcoin 118 to 120,000. So they don't have their money in alts right now. They're waiting for this massive Bitcoin pump. And I believe the market makers are just giving them chop to take the money back and forth. And until we see that nice bounce up to the upside of Bitcoin to where we can, get a higher high and then start to slowly dwindle and then have the dominance go down and the market flow go into the alts, then we'll see our alt season. And I agree with you here. I think Ethereum is just dying to pop. It's just waiting to go. It is not dead. This is the time when you see Twitter and everybody's talking about something's dead. That should be your trigger to buy. That to me is a buy signal. The sheep are saying it's garbage, it's over. Ethereum's going to break all-time highs. It's going to melt faces, and I think it's probably going to do it within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, man. And don't be a sheep in this market, guys. Be a goat. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, you're absolutely right, man. I think Bitcoin, as it pumps, it also brings a lot of confidence back into the market as well. So people will start accumulating alts at the same time as well, and then that money that gets exited out of Bitcoin is going to drop back into the alts, and then we're going to see a massive alt season after that. And we go for another leg as well. It's basically going to be another leg for Bitcoin, and it's going to be the first leg of the breakout for alts for this one, which is going to mirror what Bitcoin did previously. And then we're going to go for a pullback up again. It's a continuous cycle until the end of the cycle. And let's look at Solana as well. Solana looks very interesting on the weekly as well. It looks like it has broken. This is on the weekly, and it has broken out and closed above the all-time high. Very similar to what Total has done on here. It's literally mirroring that. And if you go on the daily, we are, as I mentioned, above the previous all-time hand. We are again seeing that same pattern that we saw on the other assets like Ethereum and the Bitcoin. We see this triangle, bullish wedge. We see a rise in volume. There's a lot of interest in this area, guys. There's a lot of interest. And the volatility has also increased dramatically. If you look at the past, look how massive that volatility is, compared to the rest. So it's a very, very interesting area here, and one to really keep a lookout for. And one of the altcoins that me and the crypto West community are really, really into is UFD at the moment. And what I think about UFD is a very good project for a meme coin. The founder looks very legit. It looks very credible. He was a gold and silver trader, and the buying on this coin has been very aggressive. There's a lot of demand, and as I mentioned before, we did accumulate in this area and even lower on this coin, and we saw a pump on this coin. We went for a pullback, higher low. We went for another pump, and it created new high. It created new highs, and now I'm just waiting for lower areas, guys, on this coin. I think we are bouncing on this trend line at the moment, and the volume is also lower than what it was before. So there's not a lot of action in this coin, and volatility has also dropped, and we are seeing that triangle pattern again on this coin as well. But I'm expecting lower prices as Bitcoin pumps, like McKenna mentioned. I would expect this to give us lower entries, such as the 150 million, which is the median of this channel.
You don't think it's going to hold that trend line?
Sorry?
You don't think it's going to hold that trend line?
Hold this trend line? No. When I see price bouncing off this trend line, I expect a liquidity grab to the upside usually, and then a push to the downside and a pullback, and then a push lower into lower areas. And we got some equal lows in this area as well that price needs to retest in order to go back up again. So we could potentially go back to the 150 million and the 100 million. And I got buy limits in this area as well. So I'm ready to catch it if it does go down. But I think it's a solid coin. And Ryan actually loves this coin, the UFD. If you want to say anything about this, Ryan.
Yeah, sure. No, I completely agree. I mean, it is a meme coin, of course. And then when you look at meme coin, there's always like, psychological factors that come into it. And you've also got factors that are out of control with meme coins, and anything can happen with a meme coin, especially like with UFD. There are a few indicators that I'm currently looking at for UFD, which are towards more of the bullish side. I mean, even if you just share screen kind of when you can, we see more recent news about UFD actually getting a listing on, which is a good site. And one of the listing agents, whoever's listing most of the coins, the asset listing for Kraken, is currently speaking about UFD quite a lot in his replies. He does want to take someone in the UFD community and who was in the team list on
can you
there as well. Can you hear me?
Your mic is off a bit. We got a comment on it. It is on my end too.
Okay. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I was literally saying the same thing. What we're seeing is we're seeing Kraken start to kind of like interact with the UFD community quite a bit now, which is quite crazy. I mean, there is someone from the asset listing crew who's actually, talking about UFD, saying that they love beans. We might start to see UFD actually getting some interaction with Kraken. As he said, looking for a contact with the team in the Kraken team. So I'm kind of confident that we might see some listings for UFD. I mean, the main reason why we saw a big drop in UFD recently because of the KuCoin competition, which UFD actually lost to a bot, which is quite funny. Mo said it's still one brother time to buy a new headset. yes,
buy a new headset, or I plug it and use your mic, man.
I buy. No worries.
Can I jump back to Solana here? See if you can get that sorted while I have a look at Solana.
Yeah.
What I want to talk about before we get into the memes there is when we're looking at Solana on the 1 day, I mean, when we zoom out, I'll start on the 3-day. When we zoomed out, we had this purple box here, which was our bottoms and our tops of consolidation coming up. And then we had a correction down. It did not hold the top here, came back in, fought it, and then now has rocketed. And as what we can see here with our EMA is that we're still towards the upside on Solana, and this is on a 3-day. We may see a little bit of correction. The stochastic is down, but I think we got a lot of this heat here. Obviously, was the Trump stuff. Sorry, that would have been here. We're on the 3-day, but we cooled off from this big pump up. This is our critical fear and greed. We cooled off that, and we're going to the upside. When we look on the daily, we do have the same thing we were talking about before. We'll notice in these times when it's Bitcoin season versus alt season, we'll start to see a lot of the same patterns, right? We got our bullish wedge. We still have movement to the upside. We're not in high stochastic here. So, and attention is being definitely on some more memes lately. We had like I said, the Trump thing. Jupiter, I mean, just today alone is up 20.33% at the moment. So all of that kind of helps obviously correlate with Solana. As everybody knows, I hate this coin, but don't love it, don't hate it, don't date it, just trade it. And when we're looking at the 4-hour, same thing again, like it's so apparent. Ooh, crazy mouse. It's so apparent to see this bullish wedge, and we have this compression. So we have our wedge forming. We've come up, we've compressed in it, but we've also now lately just been compressing in here. And we know that compression leads to breakouts, and we're up and down. We're not in a sell position in our stochastic on the 4-hour. So Solana could take off here and start to want to charge new all-time highs again. And I think if we get any kind of focus on memes and Jupiter and things like that, we'll see Solana want to retest, its area here. It'll probably pull back. Obviously, like I always say, we want to see the breakout, the retest of that area before we can go higher. And most likely, we're getting these touches. But if money flows in this week, like I'm hoping it's going to, I think we'll see some bullish action on Solana. It could be an interesting play. I always have some bags of Solana. I wouldn't be overly loading up here at the moment. I think Ethereum will probably melt a few more faces of Solana. As Amir was saying a little earlier, and I think that'll change some stuff for sure.
Yeah.
How am I sounding? Any better?
Oh, he's back, ladies and gentlemen.
So much better.
I don't know what it is. It might be my connection. It might be the headset. Oh, but
no.
It's still crap. Tell
Is it actually
get a new mic.
Oh man! All right, give me 5 seconds. I'll try to add something else.
All right, we're gonna lead it to you, Amir. What do you got up next?
We were gonna talk about the Bitcoin tops for each cycle, me and Ryan, but obviously he's got some mic problems, so he has to fix that. But historically, when you look at this, market moves in cycles, right, guys? We got bear markets, we got bull runs. So right now we are in this bull run, right? We are in the bull run. So we had the bear market period. We're going up. We're on an uptrend right now. And historically, when you look at Bitcoin, the end of each cycle usually ends at the end of each year of that bull run. So, for example, the 2014 top literally was on the 25th of November 2013, which led to 2014. And the 2018 top was at the end of 2017, December, And the last previous cycle as well, it ended around the November time as well. So it looks like we are heading towards the end of the year area, which is going to be around here. So I marked up the December time in 2025, and it looks like we're heading towards that area, so we can have a top. And there's actually a very interesting chart that I always go back to, which is called the Benner cycle. I can't remember the exact name, but it's called the Benner cycle chart. And this was actually created in the 1800s by a person called, I can't remember the name, but Samuel Benner there. Samuel Benner was a farmer from the 1800s who wanted to understand how market cycles worked. And in 1875, he published a book forecasting business and commodity prices. So he created this chart which predicted every cycle top and every cycle bottom. And he has almost got this accurate to the T. And for example, in 1945, we had World War II, right? Was it the end of World War II, right? And then we had a crash in the market. And we had 1981, which was a stock market crash or real estate crash, as you mentioned, Kanna, right? And then that crashed the market. And in 1999, we had the dot-com bubble, which crashed the market. And in 2019, we had COVID, which crashed the market. And in 2023, it was the bottom of the market, that's when Bitcoin and other assets started climbing again. And it says here in the middle, these are minor crashes. At the top, these are major crashes. At the middle, these are cycle top minor crashes. So in 2026, it says that we're going to have a minor crash, and we're going to have a bear market all the way to 2032. And 2032 is going to be the next bottom of the next cycle, and then we're going to go to all the way have a bull run all the way to 2035, and then that's when we're going to have the next major crash, like we did in COVID, we did in dot-com bubble, we had the real estate crash and the stock market crash in 1981. So it seems like money is literally following this chart. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on this, Kenna. What you think on this?
Yeah, there's an interesting YouTuber, Jason Pisano. I think that's how you pronounce his name. And I really like his market outview because he brings in more than just regular markets. He also brings in the real estate market. And that has, from ever since real estate was being sold, it has the data from that. And we're looking at 2026, 2027 as the cycle top for that. And most things follow that as well. So when you look at that, a lot of people, are saying, oh, we don't have a bull market. I think right now that's what the market makers are trying to do. They're putting the fear in the market. It's over. The sentiment is low on crypto Twitter and things like that. But the patience of crypto Twitter and the average trader is almost none. And when we want to look at what makes good traders are very difficult to swing trade. You have to be a pro to be scalping and swing trading. It's difficult to outperform the market. And the expression time in the market is greater than, timing the market. That's what it's about. And when you can get into good projects and just have patience and walk away, some of those are your biggest gainers. Like I said, I lost a lot of followers when I said I was cashing out of the market in the beginning of December. You'll remember, you guys, when we were talking before and I called, the bull market has started and everybody started laughing at me, and I lost a ton of followers for that because I was like, we're making higher highs and higher lows. That is a bull market. It's not a raging bull, and we haven't seen a raging bull yet. But if you look back when we were saying, hey, get into the market, yeah, you've had some 20Xs, 30Xs, 100Xs since that time this year. If you're just getting in now, you're at that last 20 to 30% of the boom, right? And that's when the euphoria is going to kick in. And that's when people think this is going to go on forever. And they're going to get rinsed just like they did last time. And same thing, I'll call it on my Twitter, and nobody times it perfect. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I didn't time the December top perfect. I was out probably a week early, but I took a lot of gains and I sat and I bought the bottom again. And this is how we do it. This is what we do. I'm going to turn your mic on here, Mr. Remy Rai.
It might not be better. It might be my connection. So it might not be better.
No, it's just that sexy voice of yours. That's all.
How's it sound? Is it sounding any better?
Oh, way better, man. You're good. You're good.
Okay, we'll survive with this for now.
For sure. Do you want your screen back up there?
Cool. Yeah, that'd be great. I think the main thing that I was going to say previously was obviously in regards to Kraken potentially listing UFD in the next few weeks, maybe. But I want to touch back on what you were saying, Amir, in regards to obviously Bitcoin and what was talking about with Ethereum. There's obviously been reports about how Elon Musk has a plan to kind of like trigger a Bitcoin-inspired price game changer. And that's more so what I'm thinking will happen within the next few months, where we start to look at the Department of Government Efficiency and how that looks with Bitcoin, and how they plan to change the world. I mean, Department of Government Efficiency's main argument is to kind of cut costs back as well. So realistically, I kind of think that we might see, Elon Musk and Donald Trump look at reducing costs somehow, not necessarily reducing the overall debt with crypto and blockchain technology, but I think they will start to use Bitcoin as the kind of like the driving force for reducing some of the costs that currently are faced within America. So I think that will happen slowly. I think there was a lot of people that were kind of expecting the Bitcoin strategic reserves to actually hit off like straight away as well. And I think a lot of the price movement that we saw previously was in regards to a potential Bitcoin strategic reserves announcement of some sort, which didn't happen. So a lot of people are kind of like sidelined for that period and when it does happen. And I don't think we'll probably see some gains until we do see that. And I think, Amma, we've had a conversation previously about how we kind of like plan this, Bitcoin run up to happen throughout the whole entire year. And I think obviously the Bitcoin strategic reserve will be number one in the actual, pushing of that price, and how they will probably manipulate that as well. So I think we might have an announcement for a Bitcoin strategic reserve hit, and then all of a sudden we see like price movement, and then all of a sudden there's like a slower period where nothing happened over a period of time, and then we start to see maybe a price reduction in Bitcoin, and then all of a sudden, we're just hitting out multiple announcements on what's happening with Bitcoin strategic reserves, and then kickstarting it for the top of the cycle. I think that's probably what we might see for this year. But like you said, this short-term price movement is probably drawn towards, the Bitcoin strategic reserve announcement not happening, and then we've got FOMC next week as well. So a lot of people will be sidelined for that. Don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, just like the ETF, right? When the ETFs got announced and we had a drop in price, it's going to be a similar event, right?
Yeah.
Sell the news.
Exactly.
Market makers are definitely doing some manipulation, but I was going to add Bitcoin to the stage here. And on our last show, which is this arrow down here, is where price Bitcoin was. And then remember when we said, what did we think was going to be our high and where we were going to reject from? And we each gave our numbers. If you saw the stream last week, you can go back and watch it if you didn't. But I called 106,420 for the Degens was going to be our rejection point to bounce down and then try to break out. And I mean, come on, people. Bang on. But it's interesting when we're in a Bitcoin cycle. You'll notice that this chart looks like Solana. This chart looks like so many others because they're following what's happening with Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is ruling the roost right now. And in this area here, we're having our compression, our support. What they're trying to do right now is, and this is why I think alts are kind of somewhat tanking this last week, is because everybody is expecting Bitcoin to break all new time highs, and so they have their money in Bitcoin hoping to get to, levels that are, sometimes, in my opinion, a little hopium up in this area. We will get there eventually. I'm not saying we're not, but I mean, first off, we have to break back, hold some sort of resistance level, which I would say is probably in here with our wicks and our candle bodies there, retest it before we can break all new time highs, So, but the funny thing with Bitcoin is it can just also rocket. And when Bitcoin wants to run, there's no stopping it. There's just no stopping when Bitcoin wants to run. We can see this movement so fast, and then you'll see people trying to chase it and just get wrecked. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens this week. Like I said, I think the meetings coming up are going to cause a little bit. Let's see what some of the indicators are giving us. Let's go down on the 1 hour. So on the 1 hour, we're definitely starting to see, we'll probably start to see some rejection at these levels in here. And, we'll probably bounce in this area for a bit. I can see us bouncing in this area for a bit, especially up until we may even come back to grab this liquidity in here. So up until FOMOC, we may push these levels to here and then just come right back down, grab the liquidity, have all the Chicken Littles screaming that, no alt season, no Bitcoin, blah, 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 it's over. And then it's just going to moon after that. That would be my 2 cents personally on it. Yeah, that's about my 2 cents. Where are we at, gentlemen?
Ryan, so go through the UFD stuff again there that you.
I mean, it was the same thing that I mentioned already. I mean, I still got it on my screen. It was more in regards to obviously Kraken potentially listing UFD, as I mentioned. Someone who's one of the heads of asset listing at Kraken, which is a tier 1 exchange, is starting to communicate with the UFD community as well. So we're starting to see a lot of traction towards that. I think this will kind of like kick steam, maybe a bit of FOMO to UFD in the short term, but I don't see anything obviously long term for this. So I completely agree with what you've posted already with UFD. There's a potential where there was a KuCoin potential listing that happened, and then all of a sudden it reached the highs of 400 million, and then when it didn't happen, it obviously broke down. But those are psychological selling areas for me anyway. So I think more than likely what you've got on your charts, it's more than likely going to play out until we get maybe a listing of some sort. And then I don't think anything will happen for the short term in regards to that. So I'm quite confident that we're good right here. But what I did want to kind of like touch on more so was in regards to what we were talking about with Ethereum and Bitcoin, and some of the larger assets. So it looks like World Liberty Fi, which we already spoke about in our last stream, which is Trump's custodial holdings for cryptocurrencies. And obviously make sure that you're following the right World Liberty Financial Twitter account. Unfortunately, they've got me blocked for some reason. I may have footed it previously in the past, but make sure that you're following the right account for World Liberty Fi. But we've started to see them start to gradually buy more of like Ethereum. I think recently in the past week or so, we started to see Trump buy more Ethereum, buy more WBTC, and I think TRX is something that they've just recently added as well to their balance sheet. So I think a lot of industrial companies are looking at what Trump's doing, and I think what Canna said previously, where industries are in right now, but we haven't experienced retail yet. And that's something that we were missing in the last cycle. It's like it's completely flipped on its head, where we've got more industry now, and less retail. So when that kickstarts and when that kicks in, I think we'll probably start to see some increases in the prices for Ethereum and Bitcoin. But it is bullish signs that, you know, Trump is buying a lot of Ethereum, and Ethereum will definitely pop. I completely agree with you, Ken. I think Ethereum's got that potential to just pop off, because considering it's now Trump's largest holding as well. I think that's something that will definitely pop off when the time's right. But my thoughts on UFD still the same. Community is bullish. They've got, you know, a community that I've not seen in a while, you know, since like the Pepe and Ship days. So I'm still buying UFD. If it does give me a dip down to the 150s or the 170s, in between that area, I'll be buying. But I'm looking at the overall picture, and what I'm looking at is I'm looking at Trump buying a lot of Ethereum, a lot of WBTC, and a lot of TRX. So I think that's going to be more of the indicators that I look towards before I start investing more in this space. But yeah, that's probably
you know what I find funny about your screen right now?
Yeah,
the World Liberty Financial portfolio.
Yes.
Is basically Trump's portfolio.
Literally.
And from 1 to 10 on that right now, where's Sol?
Nowhere to be seen.
Right? The guy launches a Sol meme coin, virtually rugs it right down and back to the bottom, and it's not even in his reserve, people. This is why I said I'd be buying ETH over Sol at the moment. Supply and demand.
Yeah, completely agree. I think Trump's played it right. I mean, Solana is more so known for its memes, and he has arguably the biggest meme coin on Solana right now. So that will arguably sit there for the rest of the cycle. So that's completely done. And then when you look at what's happening now with Ethereum and what you're looking at BTC, like that's obviously going to be the main portfolio that they're buying it up in large amounts. And considering World Liberty Fi has only been here for like, I think maybe around like 6-7 months, you know, they've already accumulated a lot of holdings already. You know, they've already hold, you know, over 239 million in Ethereum backed assets, like, which is insane, you know, considering such a short period. And yeah, we've got another 3 to 4 years of this. So I'm positive a lot of those will be in the billions. And it's not just seeing how much they're buying. It's more so of the influence that World Liberty Financial has across the world and across investors and across industries that are looking at their portfolio. They'll be following the same strategy that these guys are following, because it's this is basically the government buying now. Like, this is like another government entity that's buying these crypto coins and these assets, because Trump is now the president. So follow the money, man.
All eyes are on that portfolio. I agree. Well said.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
Yeah, agreed.
And
I think
ENA
that's pretty
is
much,
on that portfolio as well. Now, I was just
Sorry,
going to say, ENA is one of the projects that was mentioned in CryptoVest for me to TA, and it's so cheap right now. Look at that; it's 2.5 billion market cap, and Ondo was on that list as well. You know.
You want your screen up?
Yeah, I was going to say ENA is only 2.5 billion market cap, and Ondo is around 4.6 billion market cap. And if the total market cap goes towards the $5 trillion valuations, and this could really jump to like 100 billions, you know. So there could be some potential in there as well. That's all I want to say. Yeah.
Interesting comment from Mo AI. I need some Mo AI. I think that Trump jumping in meme coins or making them is more because of his son Barron. There's definitely, I think, some influence from the kids. Absolutely, man. I agree with that comment. Let's be honest, when you're an old goat like myself or President Trump, you rely on these younger whippersnappers like Amir and Rai here to find these kind of trends. And definitely, you know, people said meme coin season was dead a while ago. Show me something that's outperforming memes right now, and that's for my followers for a long time, and you guys that we've been trading together for a long time. I've faded memes for years outside of a couple of major ones, and I used to just say they were trash. And for the majority of the time, they were.
Yeah.
But you got to focus where the liquidity is, where the attention is, where the community is. And when you do that, you take money. It's that simple.
Yeah, completely agree with you. I think, like you said, like there's gonna be a period where the older generation will start looking at meme coins now. I mean, even UFD, for an example, like that is one thing that's kind of like, it's captured a lot of the gold and silver traders, like Amir says. He was a gold and silver trader. And now we're getting to the point where a lot of his old followers who were buying gold and silvers, the boomers to be exact, they're now looking at meme coins. They're looking at what Ron's done and his story. He's made over millions from just, creating UFD. So it's going to bring in an older generation to it as well, which I'm quite interested in seeing. Like, I've not seen it before. It's quite new. And like you said, with memes, I've got one up on my screen now, Kana, which I don't know if you want to quickly just get up quickly for the fans. The lovely fart boy.
I can't wait to get into this. You tell me. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. We actually haven't talked about this, so I'm going to let you go with Fart Boy, and then I'll go after. How does that sound?
Yeah, great. I mean, fart memes have now taken over Solana. Like, I mean, Fartcoin, when we first saw it, I probably it was like 20 mil market cap. I first posted it in the Cryptoverse group chat around 30 to 40 mil. And then all of a sudden it ran to $2 billion market cap. And then we started to see, UFD come out of nowhere, and people thought Unicorn Fart Dust was kind of like a beta play or some kind of like, LARP version of Fartcoin, and it isn't. It's got its own narrative. It's got its own story behind it. And then as soon as Fart Boy comes, it's like the same thing. People fade it first because they think it's just another Fartcoin ripoff. But when you see like the artwork behind it, you see the team that's pushing it. You see, is it Coins Kid that you mentioned, Kana, who's now pushing Fart Boy as like one of
I wouldn't say he found it. I'll get into my review. I want to hear what you have to say, and then I'll give a little history of what I know of it. Because
yeah, for sure.
If you were in our stream last week and you got in when we talked about this,
it's 4 million.
It was
10x.
For you.
Go back to last Sunday. Just go back on the chart on last Sunday. Where it was. It was on the 19th.
Last Sunday now?
19th.
19th. Yeah. All the way down here, bro.
Look at that, man. Look at that. Cryptoverse GOAT3D Podcast.
Not just the podcast. If you was in the group chat, you would have got it even further down. You would have got it.
I gave this out at 350K. That's when I got it. It was announced at less than that, and I was sleeping. That's the curse of being in different parts of the world. But yeah, if you were following me on Twitter, or if you were in the Cryptoverse Telegram group, you were introduced to this at 350K, and right now here today is sitting at a $45 million market cap. This is where you crack some champagne. Sorry to interrupt. I'm going to go into this a little bit heavier.
Yeah, not just that. I was gonna say literally, like, as soon as it was posted in the private group chat, it was maybe around like 400K market cap. When you first shared it with me, Ken, it was around like 300K when I first saw it. I put in a buy, like literally as soon as you sent me, I put in a buy. I made like 3-4x and I sold it, and now I'm looking at it at $45 million market cap. That's like 100x. That's literally missed, but that's part of the game. It's part of like the meme coin trading game. Like for me, like I've been in a space where some coins I'll take 3 to 4x and I'll just leave, and then all of a sudden it just like it dies. But with this one, this has literally like taken over Twitter. It's taken over so many social platforms and small little groups that I'm in. And I kind of see this going much further. I mean, it's got its own branding behind it. I mean, even if you just go on its Twitter and then like the comic kind of like icon behind it. I mean, there's even like a fart girl or something like that. That's just
Okay. Let
so.
me take the stage here, because
Go ahead, Cannon.
we were talking just moments before. We were saying, I wasn't big on meme coins and things like this in the past, and I hit big on some meme coins. I was at Pepe very early. I was Pepe coin very early. I faded Peanut when you introduced it to me at 35,000K. Whoops. And things like that. But I've been in Coins Kid on Twitter. Hold on, let me share my screen here. Let's see if we can.
The community is mad, The community is actually so good.
Yeah. So Coins Kid is who I always call the David Attenborough of crypto. He's got a soothing voice. He does amazing TA, but he rarely does meme coins. I've been in his community for a few years. This guy is called XRP, better than anybody I've ever met. And he's really down to earth. He's one of those. I don't promote a lot of YouTubers or other people to follow, because I think a lot of people have their own, they're trying to pump their own bags. This guy's like us. We want to teach. We want to educate. We want to share. And so if you get on his Twitter, you can get into his Discord, and you can get into the free channels and things like that. And he called this out. So right now, if you want to do a little research, he just released a video on YouTube, and I think I put the link in our description below, and it's why he picked Fart Boy and his whole, what is it, like 14, 15 minutes kind of a thing on his digging into it, that all the snipers are gone, the devs' wallets are gone, and things like that. And if you want to check out the community takeover, CTO, some people have asked me, they didn't know what a CTO meant. And what happens is with all these meme coins that are out there, right? Most of them are garbage. Let's be honest. Like you said earlier, Remy, you're in and you're out, right? Because the majority of these things go to zero. And what makes a meme coin? I think UFD, what we were talking about it with Basement Ron, is a prime example, right? Yeah. It's the character, it's the community, it's the people behind it. Pepe, Doge, like there are epic meme coins. So he finds this Fart Boy token, and the dev originally rugged it for 50K, right? And it just went off. And the dev had created it because he was following the narrative of crypto. There was Fart Coin, which people wrongly accused of being the first AI coin. That was Turbo. And then Unicorn Fart Dust, when Basement Ron made that comment, and we've already seen what that has done. And so this guy took that concept and he ripped off a New York Times author, best-selling author. Fart Boys is actually a series of books for children. And he stole the art and he did all this stuff, rugged the community, and we did a community takeover, CTO. And as we were saying earlier, meme coins are all about the community. And the community in here, I was in Wall Street Bets when it was less than 1,000 people. You guys know, and you're still in, Remy, in the Bored Ape Yacht Club. And I hate when people say early Bored Ape Yacht Club vibes. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you jump in Coins Kid's Discord, that's free on his channel, and you get into the Fart Boy channel, you will see a community behind this unlike anything else I've ever experienced, except for Wall Street Bets early days and Bored Ape Yacht Club. These guys are awesome. They're supportive. We have noobs that have never been in crypto. We have all these things going on, and it's just been great, right? The story behind the lore of Fart Boy just keeps getting better. So it gets picked up with this CTO, and we run this thing to 4.5 million. And then it tanks. A whole bunch of people that got in early cashed out, goes all the way down to 900,000 total market cap. And everybody is saying it's dead, it's over. And the diehards of the community were like, fuck that. And they took it from 900K to 50 million. And then when we get into the charts here, I mean, this chart is just a thing of beauty, right? Like, show me a better chart right now. And what happened here was really interesting. We're in the 4 hours. This is obviously people taking profit. But part of the funny part of the story with Fart Boy is there were people that bought the rug and they just left it and they forgot about it. And they were in down here, right? So they woke up to find their wallets up here. So this dip here was pre-CTO wallets that went, oh my God. One wallet we can track. You can go into the cells and track this yourself. I won't share them. But one guy woke up to $750,000 off of buying down here. And you go into the sales of the wallets in this thing, and you'll just see them taking, $3,000, $5,000 worth of SOL out in every 2-3 minute intervals, right? And when I talk about strength and community, look at these dips. Look at them just get eaten, right? And then people are starting to see the attention, and it's been going up. And sure, absolutely, yes, we have a wall at this, 50 million market cap. Mm-hmm. And then today, what we had was people get bored with memes. Their attention kind of fades a bit. Right? Oh, it's over kind of a thing. So a couple of people that got in during the CTO that had some decent gains sold it off, right? They brought it all the way down to 0.2675. This community prides themselves on eating dips. Eating the dips. You get in there, it's like Wall Street Bets, not selling, not selling, not selling. Dips, whale hunt. They cleaned out whale wallets of just constantly buying. And they've already brought it right back up again. So almost all the pre-CTO whales are gone. They're not even in the community or in the ecosystem anymore. And then something interesting happened last night. The author of the book announced on his Twitter, or made a comment on his Twitter, I should say, that it's cool and that he's actually in. So something that was taken by a scammer, right? Totally stole his artwork and everything. The guy that did it was like, this is awesome. Right? And is now behind the project.
It's a good story.
Oh. So what does the community do? They buy out his books on Amazon. That's beautiful. Nice. I bought one. I absolutely did frame it because I got in early. We don't need to obviously know that it's over, 5,000% gains, I think, just from when we announced this last week on the show. Right? And then typical lore of a good meme coin. This guy, this author, he knows nothing about Web3 or crypto. And sadly, what happens? The community donates a whole bunch of fart coin to the guy, or fart boy to the guy. My bad. And somebody reaches out to him pretending to be, on Dex and wanting to help them and convince them to give him a seed phrase.
Damn.
So the guy gets rinsed. Whew. All of this is all just part of the story. But he's not upset. He's ecstatic. He's still on board. The community is strong as hell. And when we talk about projects to get in, this to me now is a good buy sign. Right? Are we probably still going to have a little bit of a wall at the $50 million market cap? Absolutely. I think so. We'll see some more compression before a breakout. But I mean, this is all organic. It's all community. There's been no influencers involved. you know, and it's just pushing the coin. And when you get into the group, you will see why. I see Fart Boy going to $1. We've had that you can go in the community. I can't remember who all the different various YouTubers that have found it and that are talking about it, things like that. But I think there's a strong case for go where the attention is that we were talking about before. And I'm not saying that because I have bags. I bought the dips. I'm not saying buy right now here today. Zoom down on a smaller time frame and buy a red candle, because you can see they don't last long. And this isn't a small dip. That's 65% in a half hour. If there's anything in a chart that shows you strength, it's how do they react to the sell-offs. And why wouldn't people sell off right now if they got in a while ago too? This is normal to me. This is healthy. People are taking the profits. I encourage this. You guys encourage this all the time. When you're in a project and you're that much in, I've taken my initials out. The community knows that. I've said it. If you join the community, you'll see me in there. I am active. I've taken my initials out and I've bought in the dip. So I've been buying all along. And like we talked about before in the last show, my fart folio, for lack of better words, is outperforming years of trading experience than all my other spot bets by a mile. That's UFD, that's Fartcoin, and that is Fart Boy. And I think if you're sleeping on this, you'll regret it. And for me to post something on my Twitter to say buy, it means I've done the research. I'm not here to shill. I'm not paid to shill. I'm here to help my friends and family make money. And I think sleeping on this is absolutely foolish. If you do want more information on how you can get it, go to CoinsKid. That's coins, COINS_kid. Is an absolute fabulous TA. He's not normally about memes in any way, shape, or form. He's only ever called 3 memes, and all of them have done well over the years. He's got, like I said, a YouTube video. You can just, put CoinsKid in YouTube and watch why did he pick it and how he goes through all the wallets and deck screeners to make sure it can't be rugged, and it already was. If you want to follow it on Twitter, Fartboy_CTO. We're fighting with Dex because the original scammer, and this is the interesting thing that I didn't know about learning about these markets, is, Dex tools and Dex scanner and all these things, they're linking like the old scam Telegram or the old scam Twitter page. We got the original scam Twitter page down, but on Dex tools and Dex Trader and all that stuff, it still links to it. Right. And it's hard to get them to go, hey, this is a CTO, to get it out there. But more and more people are talking about it. I can't wait to talk about it again next week and see where we're at in market cap, because I honestly believe we will not be at this 45 million to 50 million market cap. I believe we're off. I believe we're off to the races. And, I said on Twitter, get in now or cry about it later.
Yes, sir.
Amazing.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I mean, you even said it. I mean, last week as well, it was like, what was it? It was 4 mil market cap when we were looking at it. We did have it around 400K in the group chat the week before. So imagine next week we're talking about it and it's already breaking 100 mils. Like, I mean, that's like very possible. I'm looking at like the volume as well. Like, I mean, the volume is quite light on the buys and the sells, but in regards to the amount of holders that are actually
$12 million in volume yesterday. What do you mean light? Come on.
I mean, for a token that's within like 45 mil market cap, for the 5-minute period, I mean, there was only 5.8K volume in the last 5 minutes, which is still great. But my thesis is more alongside the amount of people that are holding the token rather than the actual people that are selling. And actually buying. As long as you've got holders and you've got a community that are holding the token and they're not selling, any buy that goes into it is just bullish momentum anyways. So it doesn't matter about the volume size. It matters about the holders that are holding and the buyers that come in after. So that is bullish signs for sure.
And I think if you look at wallet, the bubbles. You'll see the bubble map, and you go into it. You'll see the people there are holding. Like I said, it's very, very Wall Street bets mentality. There, myself included. There's a lot of us that are like, we'll take this to $1. And every time that somebody wants to rinse the sales and drop the chart, we'll buy it.
Yeah.
We will eat the dips. And the charts say that for themselves. And so it's been really interesting. It's been fun. It's been nice to have fun in crypto again, especially with all this chop in spot and everything else. That's the one thing I can say is the group in there has been fun. And I think there's some serious potential here. I hope some of our viewers got into it, and I'm not upset if you're taking gains. You know, you got to take your money out of the market as well. So if you did get in last week to this week and you're up that 10x, hopefully you took some out and left a little in, and buy the dips. I mean, buy the dips and hold. This is the mentality of this community, and the fact now that the author is behind it. And he's such a good guy. And I don't know if a lot of people know that, you know, yeah, he might be a New York Times bestseller, but he's not raking in any kind of money, you know. And so the community has been donating to him and have been buying his books up. And hopefully it brings him some more attention. He did, him and I briefly talked on Twitter, and he's down to do a stream with us to talk about it. And just to get what are his impressions of, like, imagine one day you wake up and one of your books is at a $45.7 million market cap and is all over Twitter and you don't have any idea, you know, and then they buy out your supply on Amazon. It's just crazy, you know. Big up to the CoinSkid crew, Fart Boy. Absolutely, KL.
Oh.
Absolutely. It has been a lot of fun. It's been a ride. It's a free Discord to get in. I highly recommend joining. I'm done talking about it unless there are any questions, but I think it's going to be a neat ride, and it's going to be one of those rides over the next little while that will be interesting to refer back to. Do we have any picks for this week, gentlemen? Because that was last week's pick. It's still this week's pick. I mean, red candles right now is always a good idea in a strong community, but anything new?
There's quite a few new tokens that I've been looking at recently, and it's more so along the lines of the influencer side. So I don't know if anyone knows, Mario Norful had a token launch, and he didn't actually launch it, is the crazy thing. So what we're starting to see now is we're starting to see influencers have a more so like a influence on people launching tokens and sending them tokens to their wallet so that they can hold it. And what Mario did is he actually had his spaces where he burned a lot of the tokens as well. And that was yesterday. So someone created the pump fund. Anyone can create it. They send him the tokens, and then when they send him the tokens, like, they expect him to talk about it. He didn't shill it at all. You know, at first he was like he's against it, and all of a sudden, boom, it just went straight to, was it like 80 mil market cap? It's starting to come back down now. I don't see this running any further. I mean, he is pushing it really hard right now, and I think they do have some listings coming up quite soon as well, and that seems to be like the new meta right now. A lot of celebrities are now having coins, or influencers having coins launched by someone, and as long as they've got like a Solana address, they will send them the tokens, and it's bullish if they burn it. That's literally the new thing right now, and that happened also with Sorkin coin. I don't know if you guys know who Sorkin is, but he's quite big in you know, the finance space in America, and especially with like is it NBC, or is on one of the platforms with it's like Squawker News and stuff like that that are talking about everything that's happening in finances as well. And what happened is he had an interview with the BlackRock CEO Larry Fink, and this was during the period of Davos, and they were talking about Bitcoin, and funnily enough, Larry Fink said, "Oh yeah, there's going to be a Sorkin meme coin." Little did he know There was a Sorkin meme coin that just literally got created and it went straight to 30 mil market cap. You know, Sorkin didn't mention it for a while. Then he mentioned on Twitter that he has no involvement in it. Elon Musk laughed about it. It's sent again to 25 mil. And it's just having these small little pullbacks now here and there. It might be good to like have as a buy and the hold just in case it's mentioned again. You know, these are little spikes that you can kind of like profit from. But other than that, it is just like an influencer meta right now where influencers are getting sent coins and then they burn it. We are on the lookout for a Mark Cuban coin that should be launching soon. Mark Cuban said that he'll be following, I think, Trump's ideology of how he launched as well. So if Mark Cuban launches, I expect it to go to billion straight away. Non-financial advice, of course. But if Mark Cuban posts and I get in quite early, I will be putting in a decent amount of money. But make sure you follow in the right Mark Cuban on Twitter and socials. We'll just get it up just to make sure that you guys are following the right Mark Cuban. Because if you're not, there's always a possibility that you could be following a scammer. So it is M Cuban, and he has been talking about a potential coin to be released as well. So he does want to follow Trump's kind of like thesis on how he launches it, as I said already. But more than likely, when he does launch, like I said, it's going to go to the billion. So make sure you're following the right Mark Cuban on Twitter. But yeah, no, I don't really have any other new coins that I'm currently looking at right now. Amir, I know you're quite busy as well, and you probably want to disappear shortly. But
I'm just buying Fred. I'm just buying Fred on every single dip. That's all I'm doing.
Fred.
What about if you're watching right now and you want to get your calls between the two of you? Where do you go to get access to your Telegram?
So the best place to go to is to Cryptoverse3_. Make sure that you're following us there. And then just give us a little follow. Just give us a message if you want to join our Telegram. We have had quite a few plays recently which have gone crazy. I mean, look at this. Like, Baron was a call. How do you call this at 170k market cap and it reaches 233 million in 6 hours? Like, there's so many crazy calls in the Telegram right now. Of course, it is risky because it is, you know, meme coins that we're playing with right now. And I also want to point out there is a competition going on right now that a lot of people may want to pay attention to. It's FaZe Banks, who's doing a competition right now for a Bored Ape, which is giving away a Bored Ape. So I know FaZe Banks had a bit of a, you know, a spat with Gordon Gunner, the Bored Ape Yacht Club founder and Yuga Labs founder. It seems like they are going to talk through their differences, I think, this week coming up on stream. So that'll be a good stream to watch. But FaZe Banks is giving away a Bored Ape Yacht Club. All he's asking for is for you guys to quote retweet it and to kind of like show appreciation to himself and say what you're kind of like excited for the next NFT cycle, which is definitely going to come soon. And if you think that it's not possible to win a Bored Ape or win anything in the competition, I mean, just look at my pinned tweet. I mean, it's definitely possible. I won one myself, so
the man on the screen. And also, guys, I was just gonna say, yeah, you go on, continue about this one.
No, go on. I mean, I was finished.
No, I was gonna say something about Cryptoverse, but this is much better. You should explain what happened here.
I mean, yeah, it's a story on how I won my mutant, which is from a competition which we've spoke about plenty of times before. But yeah, just make sure that you guys, you know, participate in anything that you see right now, NFT wise, because you never know what you could win. Always make sure that it's, you know, from a credible source, because there are there's so many scammers out there right now in the space. And yeah, no, I mean, what was you going to say about Cryptoverse?
Now, I was going to say, if you guys are feeling like you're left behind or you don't know a lot about crypto, I think joining a community is a very important thing, in my opinion. We struggled when we started at first. We had to learn everything ourselves. When you join a community of like-minded people, you can learn a lot of things and you can connect with a lot of people as well. If you're a person that wants to also connect, we got all sorts of type of people in our group as well, from all different sectors of life. And if you're ever alone as well, you can send us a message. You can send us a DM. I'll always be there to talk to you as well. Yeah, I don't know.
And brother, like it's like we were talking about with community before, right? Like it is exactly that, you know. And having traded with you guys for a few years, you know, you're a lucky SOB. I mean, you won your Bored Ape Yacht Club, but I also look at it as I'm a lucky SOB. I was telling people to mint these things.
Yeah.
You know, and we have aces and places in our groups where we catch a lot of stuff early. And it's because we grind. We have passion for this and we have passion for sharing it. And I think that makes all the difference in the communities. And each cycle, it's different. You know, it's going to be a different NFT project. It's going to be a different meme coin. But if you get into the right ones and you find that community, for lack of sounding totally cheesy, it can change your life. It absolutely can. These communities are outreach to people and that have various skill sets, you know, a support. It's amazing. And if you would have said, you know, 10 years ago, I would be doing what I'm doing, I would have thought you were crazy. You know, I would have said you're absolutely nuts.
Yeah, completely agree. What would you say about something like a Bored Ape Yacht Club community and how that is? I mean, you even said, like, you know, the Fart Boy, you know, Discord gives you kind of like the vibes of like the BAYC early vibes. You hate saying it, but if people weren't there to experience it, like I was there to experience it, what was it like for yourself?
It was the first, again, I will go back to Wall Street Bets because I was in that in under 1,000 people. It had that same vibe of a little bit of degeneracy, a lot of fun, but also, like, for lack of a better word, like brotherhood or community or that, like, we were there to help pick you up when you fell down, or if you had questions, we were there to, you know, walk you through the process. You know, there's a lot of things that people take for granted that they know or don't know in this community. And if you're a noob and you're coming in and you're getting all this stuff, it's overwhelming, right? Put yourself in the shoes of somebody first coming into this space. And if you don't feel that, you know, warmth of a welcome or people wanting to help, give you a helping hand, why would you want to be a part of that community?
Yeah.
You know, and we talked about earlier how it's community that make these things work. And so if you find a community you vibe with, it can be explosive. You know, Wall Street Bets was that. Bored Ape Yacht Club is that. You know, we're both still in the club. You know, and, you know, I'm down to my last ape that I don't think I'll ever sell, and a few mutants and, you know, tons of lands and a whole bunch of waste of money on heavy metals, things like that. You know, at the end of the day, I can't complain from the contacts I've met, the people I've made, the parties all over the world. And at the end of the day, taking profit. I've made a lot of money in every one of these projects. And I expect projects this bull run, especially like Fart Boy, to make a bunch more, you know. And not saying that's the all be all, there's going to be more as we get throughout this year. And that's the exciting thing, but they're one in so few. So it's finding those gems early. And then if it resonates with you, join it. If it doesn't, you just have to have that patience, like we were talking before as well, to wait for it, because it'll come. You know, speaking of what we were talking about earlier, we were talking about this Bitcoin and how we thought it would reject here. Here's our candle, got right to the line that I posted it and already started to pull back down to that area. I love it when it comes together, gentlemen. I really
TA 101. No, I completely agree with you. I was just going to end off on what I was going to say with, community. There's no price that you can put on a community that's giving you value. And, a lot of things that I've experienced within this space, if a community is very, very good and, they're offering alpha all the time, like, you can't really put a price on it, because realistically, there's opportunities where you could put in $100 to something and end up with an NFT that's worth 400 grand, at the end of the cycle. I mean, like you said, kind of, you minted a Bored Ape Yacht Club. It was probably like, what was it, like $100, $200 to mint, and $200 to mint, and all-time high prices of a Bored Ape Yacht Club, at the time was 400 grand. You can't really put prices on being in the right places and feeling a good vibe and good atmosphere. I'd like to say the same with like Cryptoverse and what we've built already. That community there it's a community itself. It lives and breathes itself. If anyone asks me what Cryptoverse is, it's a community. It breathes itself. People that are in that community, they help others. We've got a support group. If I'm not available, Ami is available. If Ami is not available, someone else is available, like Juan. If Juan's not available, someone like Kyron's available. And then if they're not available, Canna's in the Telegram. Like, there's always someone there that's able to kind of like answer questions. And, there's someone always that's there, even for the newbies that have just joined. Like, it's invaluable. You can't really put a price on it. I don't want to put a price on it, but the aim is to kind of like grow it to kind of like a decent level and not overly, put so many people in, because, quality is better than quantity, of course, at the end of the day. But the message stays clear and the message will spread across, even if you're not in the Telegram, and you're watching us live for free on X or YouTube, the information is still going to be valuable, because Fartboy was mentioned last week at 4 million, so it's still valuable.
It's funny. How you guys doing for time? Because we've been running at about an hour 30. We're gaining followers here as we go. We're about half our watch view than last week. But if you are watching us and any of what we said has resonated with you, it means a lot to us if you can give us a follow on our Twitters, Canna Crypto Pope, NFAOFC. I run both. NFAOFC is my company. Remy Rye and Mr. Goated, make sure you're following them. The Cryptoverse, we are streaming to each individual socials, and they are also these shows. Now, we used to keep them private, but now every Sunday we're going to leave these on YouTube for free so everybody can watch, go back, rewatch, and listen. And if it's resonating with you, just that little click of a like, a follow, really means the world to us, because it gives us the inspiration to keep doing what we do, because we don't charge for what we do. And this is what we do in our free time to help everybody, because it is passionate for us to carry a lot of you along the way to teach. And if you ever do have questions, there is no such thing as a dumb question. As cliche as it sounds, this is a very confusing space. And if we don't know the answers, we admit, I don't fucking know, and you can find out. But we have enough reach between all of us that we can find those answers. And that's the beauty of this space and having community, is that you can get those things. And I've been trading with these two now for a few years, and it's just been great. It's been a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to this bull run. I think we're going to find a lot of stuff as they hit. I mean, what were we talking about? What was that one? What was it? Milton?
Yeah.
What was that? Does somebody have that available? Should we share that, or should we just like shut up about that?
We can do it quickly if you want. I can put it on 1 second.
So
Milton Keynes. Let's go.
This was introduced in the Cryptoverse Telegram group quite early on. It looked like it was dead. I found it and I went in there to go, hey, because I'm new to memes. I'm the first one to admit. And I went in there and I was like, hey guys, I found this. And everybody's like, oh yeah, we've already all been in it. and I joined, and it's still already pumping. You got it on your screen? I'll pull it up there.
I bought a little bit too early, but it's okay, man. You know, I'm just gonna keep it. I'm just gonna hold it for a couple of weeks and see what it does.
And this is pumping because of Telegram, is that correct?
So it's pumping because of TikTok. So this is a TikTok meme, which I think a lot of people are starting to kind of like get traction to and social traction to as well. So I placed the buy-in on this as well. I started to see, I think recently it was like maybe like 3 mil market cap when I first saw it, 2 mil market cap when it was in the chat as well. I think when you posted it, Kenna, as well. But it seems like a lot of TikTok meta trends are starting to kind of like peak back up again. And it was another coin that is a bit similar, which is called, I think, Apple Dog, which also went to around like 30 mil, 40 mil. So I think this is actually like a song, like a dance as well. It's funny, it's quite funny. So if anyone wants to search up coins, or if you find anything like this and you don't know or have no clue about it, what the best thing to do is to put in $ with the name in your Twitter, and then it will come up with everything about that coin. So if you don't know anything about a coin, always search Twitter. And even if you just like, you know, share my screen as well, kind of just for a brief instance.
Sure, right.
Like this came into our Cryptoverse group chat whilst I was on the call with you guys, and it seems to be going crazy. Like there's 4 million in volume within the last 6 hours. Well, within the last 5 minutes, 1.4 million in volume, which is a lot of money going into this, which is called JPEGs as well, strategic JPEGs reserve. Which is quite funny. I found it quite funny. I wish I saw it in the chat earlier. That was at around like 200k market cap when it was first posted in the chat. But whilst I've been on stream with you guys, I've been able to make money as well. So there's always possibilities within this game that you play in crypto. Like you can have your phone, you can be streaming, you can be trading, you can be just doing anything. So yeah, meme coins are definitely going. Milton is one that we're looking at. With this one, such as JPEGs, I'm just going to leave it and see how it goes. Maybe next week it's still alive. It probably won't be. Maybe just dies at the end of today. But always be careful with meme coins. I always put in 0.5 Solana into my trades, as you can see. I don't really play with that much if it's like a fresh launch. And yeah, so just place your entries at DCA levels. I think if Milton comes back down, I'll be able to DCA as well. I'll just get that up on my screen as well and show you the levels that I bought in as well. But I think I bought around, was it like 5 mil market cap, 6 mil market cap? Yeah, about 5.9. If it comes back down, I'll probably do a DCA around maybe like the 3 mil area if it comes back down. But DCA is the best thing to do. 0.5 again, as I told you guys, at entry at first is 0.5 Solana. You want to make sure that you're using minimal amounts of capital. Some people use 0.25, some people use 0.15. I use 0.5 every single trade. I don't move away from that. I keep it very, very strict. But yeah, no, I'm quite bullish on Milton because of the TikTok.
What's your prediction?
factor.
What's your prediction on this? Yeah, like where do you think it will go? Projection?
If I was a predictive analysis, Amir, I'd be a billionaire right now. So it's uncertain with meme coins. You never actually know. But if I compare it to something like Apple Dog, which went to 30 mil and 40 mil, that would be nice for it. But I've got no expectations. If anything goes to maybe like 3 or 4x, always take your initials at first, and then everything else is a free ride. So that's just the way we play it right now. So yeah.
Fantastic.
We got 950 viewers, like I said, a little less than last week, but we also changed the time. I don't know if that affects anything, but we are streaming on 6 different platforms. And if you comment on those platforms, I can see the comments, and so can the other 2, and we can answer any of your questions. So we'll give you maybe about 30 seconds to another minute if you have any questions to ask us, or if you want us to look at anything.
Yeah, I guess just for one, we did have one in the Telegram yesterday, Amy. I think it was more so along the lines of how to set sell orders on Photon. So if you click sell right here and then you go to auto sell, make sure you don't click sell now. You will be able to set a stop loss straight away. You can set whatever you want percentage wise. I normally go around 30% for my stop loss, which will take it around to like 1.3 mil. But I don't use stop losses all the time, but it's because I'm always watching the charts. But if you're not watching the charts, the best thing to do is probably put like 30%, 40%.
Ryan, can you click that market cap buy? Can you click it? Market cap buy with the arrow. Yeah, I do this usually. I put buy target line.
Okay, so
go
use
down,
target line.
buy target, and then you can drag the price. So you can drag it to the price that you want your stop loss at. It's much easier.
You can do that.
It's a lot easier. You just drag it,
Multiple
and then
ways.
once you drag it, you go down again on the sell side, sell orders. Yeah, and then you create the once you drag to the price that you want your sell order to be, you just create the order, and you put the sell amount as well, like how much of your percentage of your holding you want to sell in that price.
And remember as well, it will expire in 24 hours if you only keep it as 24 hours. So please be cautious about that. But yeah, no, I don't have anything more to share. I think that was probably it from my end, unless anyone else has anything else from their end.
Is there any questions? You can ask personal questions as well, if you want. Like what I do.
Maybe to you. No, guys, it's been fun to be streaming again. It has been a while, and if you're just tuning in, we are going to do this every Sunday, 5 p.m. London time, and we will obviously have our posts on all of the different media formats. You're more than welcome to reach out, get into Cryptoverse Telegram group, follow each of us, like we said, on Twitter. And if you were wanting to get into Fartboy, get on Coins Kid Discord. And happy trading for the week. We're not getting any other questions, so if nobody else has anything else, I think that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in. It means the world to us. Peace.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys.
I'm going for a massage.